Anthony Hartwig here with a Middle Ridge Volleyball player profile. I am joined by now a senior setter, Samantha Aulet. Sam, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're a senior now, and that's shocking. I'm sure it hasn't hit you completely yet either. What's it been like this year, just taking a little bit more responsibility and being a little bit even more of a leader than you already have been, and knowing that all the lasts are coming for you?
It's definitely a surreal moment because it's the last of everything. I mean, I'm not really planning on playing in college, so it really is the last. And just taking everything in and living in the moment.
What has been the hardest last for you? Is it the hardest? Is it the last home game? The last time you play this opponent? Last, what's the hardest last you think for you?
Um, I would probably say the last time we played McDonald was really hard because it's a rival. It's always been
Mhm.
fun to play them. And probably our last home game was a little sad because um like it's the last time I'm gonna play in my own gym.
You've earned the right to play one more time because you were a higher seed in the tournament, so you do have that one more home game. But when you look at all the things that you guys have done this year, you have a really probably the hardest schedule for your size school that we see in the YSN family. Smithville, Fitch, Crestview, etc. The teams in your league that are good. You just played Lakeview. What has that done for your guys' confidence? Getting some wins in that stretch and then competing and falling against some others.
I feel like it shows us our capabilities and that if we really put our mind to it that we can be a tough team or we can rise to the occasion, if you will, or just gives us confidence in ways we didn't really think we uh had before. And then after putting ourselves in the moment and rising, we're like, okay, we actually can do what we're capable to do.
Last year you put up numbers. You earned the YSN Setter of the Year last year because of those numbers that you put up. Hard to imagine that you were doing even better this year, but you have improved. What kind of ways have you do you, from your perspective, have you improved your game even more this senior season?
I would say running the offense faster and at a different pace than last year because we're running new things. And I would say knowing where everyone at is not only on my side of the court but also on the other side of the court, which would help not only the hitters but also our defense, because if I can get someone to move in just the slightest way, it will better the hitter and it will better our defense, and hopefully we get the point by making them move just a little bit.
Your hitters have been working for you for a long time. You have a great bond with them. Faith, Ava, Gianna Wilson in the middle, Bussy. What's it like to have such a strong bond with all the hitters that you're able to set to?
I would say it just puts a lot of trust in each other. If I do my job and the passer does their job to put the ball in the window, then I just have to put the ball in their window, and I just know they'll put it away. It's just knowing that also seeing them and then knowing that they're gonna be there if I just put the ball where it needs to be, then that bond is getting stronger, and we were able to play at a higher level than we wouldn't be able to if that wasn't happening.
Last year you got 1,000 assists. This year you got 2,000. We got your raw emotions after that game in the post game interview. But now that you've been able to let that sink in a little bit, that you're in a 2,000 assist club, what does that mean to you to get that milestone?
I honestly didn't even think that I would be able to even reach it because I wasn't a setter my freshman year because of my sister, and then to be able to get 2,000 in 3 years is kind of crazy. I didn't expect anything like that at all, and but my biggest motivator was my sister did it, so you got to do it to prove you're better.
You're close. It's gonna come down to the finish between you and your sister. She was at what 2,272 is I think the number that we're aiming for. You're a little bit over 100 off. 2,157 is your total after last night's 33. What would that mean to you if you're able to have a big tournament run and get to that mark and even get to just one better, 2,273?
I don't even think I would let Danielle live it down. I'd be like, you had a whole year of setting that I did. I had 3 assists my freshman year. Like, I don't think there would be a time where we saw each other where I wouldn't bring it up.
You talk about that freshman year where you were the libero, you weren't the setter. But was the setting mindset there? Like, did you pretty much know that when Danielle graduated, you were next up and you set before and you knew how to do it? Or was that kind of a surprise that you were going to be growing into that role and you were going to fit into the role of setter that Danielle left?
Well, I already knew that I would kind of be the setter because even like if Danielle didn't get the ball and I was in, I would have to get second ball sometimes. And I was setting before I would like became the libero. Like for JO, I was the setter and I wasn't a libero. So like I already had like the setting backgrounds. And then when he brought me up to setter, I was like, this is no surprise. Like you already know how to set the ball, just do what you do. And then that's what happened.
What was the biggest transition for you though, going from this the level of JO that you already set for, and then libero, and then all of a sudden you're a varsity setter and you have to be a leader as a sophomore. What was that transition like for you?
I don't really say it would be like a hard transition because like I said from Jo, like the setter is basically the leader anyway. Like you're running the offense, you're telling the hitters what they're gonna hit. I would just say the hardest part was learning your hitters and what they like to hit.
Is there differences in setting for JO compared to setting for varsity and in high school? Are there differences to the game that you have to adjust to?
Yeah, I would say like in JO, it's maybe like a little bit more fast paced than in school because like everyone in JO is experienced in some way, and like learning like okay, this block's bigger than this person. In high school, you're not really seeing like tall girls. If you see a tall girl like Abby from Crestview, you're like okay, gonna have to make her move, but like you don't really see that too often in school.
You have a lot of Thunder athletes on your team, teammates, Thunder volleyball teammates. What's it like to play with players that you play with in the off season in JO?
I think it just brings like the bonding and trust like a lot tighter and like knowing that they're gonna be there. And then like after school's over and we go to JO, it's like the competitive edge. It's like, okay, well like my team's gonna be better than yours, and it's just like a fun little banter that we have with each other. And then it just I don't know, it's just like a fun time.
One of the things I like to ask players to play so much club volleyball or club softball, whatever sport it may be, you build a lot of relationships with people that don't go to your school. A lot of players that don't play for your high school team that maybe you play with or very closely to in JO. Who are some of your best friends in volleyball that don't wear Mineral Ridge colors?
I would say Jamaica Brungard. When we play Springfield, I always talk to her through the net. Um, Reagan yesterday from Lakeview. Let's see. Grace from Jackson Mountain, the libero. Talked to her a lot. That's all I can think off the top of my head.
At least Jamaica wears the same colors, right? It's not Mineral Ridge, but it's orange and black. We'll live with that. Which one of those three that you just mentioned is the most trash talk? Like, friendly trash talk, of course, but the most, gratifying to beat when you're able to beat them on the floor.
Probably Reagan.
You got that last night, and that's the way you cap your regular season. How much does this regular season give you guys confidence going forward? I mean, you're the only team that get tickets set from Crestview. You beat Fitch this year. You beat Lakeview. How much does this regular season really give you guys confidence going into that district bracket?
For sure gives us like a huge boost. Like, okay, you know what you're capable to do. But also in the summer when we would play like all these Cincinnati teams and Toledo teams, we're like, okay, well, we rose to the occasion there. We did it here. So now it's, as Coach Lesko would say, the third season. Show out and play. If you don't show out and play, you're done. So you you have to want it.
You do have a pretty big gap between last night and your first tournament game. What's that going to be like? You don't get gaps in volleyball. You get 3 or 4 games a night. You don't get the time in the gym to practice this long between games. What's this next week and a couple of days going to be like as you wait for your first tournament game?
Well, we'll prepare for whoever wins the South Range and united game, and then we're gonna focus on teams that we could possibly play, and maybe create new plays that we could potentially run, and hopefully the district championship.
Is it weird to have that much time off between games because you're so used to next night, next game? Is it kind of off-putting to have a week off, or are you welcoming the time to kind of unwind and unset and maybe rest a couple of aches that you have?
I would say both. Like, it definitely is weird because like there was a like probably the month of September we had 4 games a week, and we were like, we have 1 or 2 practices a week, and we were like, what are we supposed to do? Because like our games were like our practices at some point, and then I would also be like, okay, well, now we have the time to work on fundamentals that we didn't have the time to do during the season, and we have time to learn new things and new techniques and skills. So I think both are good and both are bad in their own way.
The biggest question people have for teams that have that time off is how do you keep the momentum, right? How do you keep that positive momentum while you're not playing? What's your opinion on how Middle Ridge is going to be able to do that in this week? How do you keep that momentum going when you're not playing any more games until the first tournament game?
I would just like, even when you're not playing, you still have like the memory of like, okay, well, we left off on beating Lakeview, so we have that for us. We were the first team to at least take a set from Crestview and kind of give them a run for their money, so we have that for us. But like also during practice when we scrimmage, we have like if we put a ball away there, we can get excited. Like, you can still like hype yourself up in your own way, even if you're not playing someone on like a different team. It could still be against your own teammate. But I just think like working hard in practice and like showing that like you know what you can do will like hype yourself up in your own way.
We've talked about your favorite JO teammate to go up against. Who's your favorite Middle Ridge teammate to go up against in scrimmages? Like, who's the one that you get most competitive with?
Probably Ava, because I'm a little short and she likes to hit straight down sometimes. So when I like can get a touch off her, when I come block her, I'll always talk and be like, "You see that? I blocked you." And she'll be like, "Shut up." And it's just a little fun banter. But she's probably my favorite.
When you think about reflecting on the time you've had in this program, that's what senior year is all about. It's about reflecting. What are some of your favorite memories that you've made with this team?
Definitely becoming 2-time league champs with this team. Um, Definitely a surreal moment. Uh, Playing together like how we did. I really haven't been like this close with the team before, because like my freshman year was kind of like, well, like I'm the freshman with all these seniors, so it was like a little at points, but then like this team, we all just bond. We talk all the time, and like there's literally not a moment where we're not together.
Give us a little bit of a scoop. Who have you been working with, or who do you think is going to be next year's replacement for you? Like, who should we watch out for when you're not the setter anymore? Who's coming up in the ranks that you've been seeing in practice a lot? We see in the JV games that you think, I might be gone, but this team and their offense is not going to lose too much with the next setter up.
I would definitely say the JV setter, Sydney Wiley. She has some hands on her, but I would also say the freshman Sullivan Sandy has been showing a lot of improvement in practice, so maybe her.
How much have you been trying to lead those girls and nurture them so you can leave this program in a better spot? And then that when you graduate, you can have confidence that the program is still in good hands.
I will say, like, the underclassmen and the freshmen do listen to the coaches and sometimes the upperclassmen of what we're saying, because they see how successful we have been in the past. And, like, for setting, that's, like, my specialty. So, like, or, like, serving, like, the freshmen will be like, hey, how do you serve? Or, like, when we have setting practice, I'll be like, hey, square up. You need to do this and this. And then they, like, try to take it in. They may not show it right away, but you can tell that they're definitely trying, which will definitely help them, especially if they're trying at it. And then just like keeping the positive attitude, and that like you can do it at some point in time, and just not giving up if you're not showing it right away will definitely help them.
We got to give Coach Lesko one last shout out before the end of this interview. You have your last chance to talk about him before you graduate. We see him on the floor so much, but you see him so much more than we do. What are some things about Coach Lesko that you are always going to treasure as a coach, and what makes him such a good coach for you in this team?
As much as I hate when he yells at me sometimes and he gets in my head, he's definitely the best coach I've ever had, and he knows the game inside and out. So like the thing that I love most about him is that after every single play, he has something to say, whether it's good or negative. He will tell you what you need to fix, what you did good. If you did something good, he'll be like, "You can still do better," which is what I love because he wants to push you to the best of your ability, and he believes that you can do better, which is always good to have in a coach. But also, I just think he wants better not only for the team but for each individual player.
I'm wondering what his message was after that Crestview game, because that was a game where you guys played like lights out, like, and you were a couple of points away from taking two sets from Crestview. What was the message after that game? You didn't get the win, obviously, but you probably gave Crestview the best game that they've had all year.
Yeah, he definitely was. He was proud of us for the way we played, but also he was like, "I think you should have got it," and that like there was a couple points where we should have picked up here and there, and that like we can't really slack off in this area, and so he definitely. I don't think he was. I don't want to say mad about the loss, but he definitely was disappointed in the way that like we didn't win that game because he definitely think we could have beat them.
All right, Sam, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to once again thank the people that are in your life that support you, the people that are in your corner, whoever you think deserves a shout out in this interview. I want to give you as much time that you want to give them their shout outs.
I would like to thank my coaches for all the support and like just helping me with my craft, and my family for always coming to my games or even watching them through YSN. Friends that come and support from school, and anyone else that is seeing my name as like, oh, I know who she is, and like all that stuff, and like that are supporting me without me really knowing that they're supporting me.
I know I said that was the last one, but we have to ask about your future. I got so caught up in the volleyball that I forgot to ask you about your future after high school. You're a senior, you're graduating. You said that you're probably not going to play college volleyball. So, what are you going to be going on to do after high school?
I would like to go into the medical field and do something with pharmaceutical. I'm not really like decided if I want to be just like a pharmacist or like a pharmacist tech, but definitely somewhere in that field. But if I do get the opportunity to play, I definitely will. But it's not something that I'm like really looking for.
How hard was it to come to that decision that, like, you love volleyball so much, obviously, but maybe it's not going to be the best thing for you in the future, and maybe high school is going to be it?
Well, it was definitely like a lot of back and forth in my head, and especially with my family. But because of their support, they like knew that I'd make the right decision. And it's just like even like after high school, it's not like or after college, I'm not gonna go anywhere else with it. So like I'm gonna have to part with volleyball at some time. So like if I do it earlier or later, like it just I don't know.
How would you keep the sport in your life even if you don't play it in a college level? You think there could be a coach outlet somewhere in the future?
I definitely could see me coaching in the future for sure. But also, like, I could always play like sand volleyball, or I could like get into a adult league, I guess, and play with other people. And there's always me and Danielle peppering in the backyard.
Yep, always that. And hopefully you're able to throw her the dig that, hey, I have more assists than you. We'll see. You have a couple of more games left, guaranteed, and you definitely, we hope, a lot more. Sam, thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you the best of luck in this tournament run, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.